tier one suppliers equipment that used equipment, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So the whole game there was they were going to ship us the inventory, and then we would categorize it.
So again, back on eBay type scenario or a website.
eBay website, and at the time Amazon was starting to become really popular. This little company called Amazon was starting to become
never heard of it. Yeah.
So, and it's funny because we ended up, constraints will almost force you to innovate, right? Because they didn't ship, it forced us to rethink the business model a little bit. It forced us to rethink how we approached, trying to grow this thing and make it real. And we hadn't considered before, well, why do we have to have the inventory? We could just resell it and drop ship it, right? Oh, okay. Well, how do we go from zero to like a big website with a lot of inventory overnight? Well, okay. Well, I found a couple of sites, and it's so funny. Scraping is all the rage these days. That's how you fed the LLMs of the world that exist now, right? They just scrape the internet. Well, I scraped one website, a big one. We negotiated a reseller discount with them, and we went from 0 to 3 million products overnight. And because we were better at SEO, we were actually making margin on the products we were selling. So that wouldn't have happened had we not went for it. It also wouldn't have happened likely had they not dragged their feet on the shipment. And not giving up was the only reason why any of it happened, right? Because a lot of people might have just said, oh, they're not going to ship for another 9 months. Well, we're already paying the lease on the warehouse. We should quit, right? How many times could you think that? So a little bit of insanity.
Well, I liked what you said about getting constraints require that you get creative, and it kind of forced you into trying new things and forcing you to experiment in different ways and asking the question, like, how do we turn this into this? And that's what came up with the next big idea, right? And sometimes, when we have those constraints put on us, it's like the first reaction is like, that's not fair, I'm out, right? But what you're saying is, maybe you flip that a little bit and say, hey, maybe this constraint being put on me is what's really going to cause my next big idea. So maybe it's a good thing, and just attacking it and seeing if that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it takes in my case, it took a lot of team belief. Like we knew that the problem was very real that we were solving, and it was really just bad luck or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or bad foresight. I could point to that and say.
How many people were on the team at that time?
At that time, it was just 2, maybe 3. Yeah.
Okay.
So it was really an incredible thing when, I look back now, and we can fast forward, right? So that company is still around today. We ended up landing an even bigger account than the one that was scheduled to ship. Today, I think, we had scaled it to 3 locations, 20 employees. We were between 2 and 3 million in revenue, and it was a big number. It was probably a few hundred million in what you'd call like assets under management, because it was through consignment. So it's a little trickier on the finance too. But we persevered through a lot, and we ate a lot. We even, again, fast forwarding, we had to navigate the PPP loans and the COVID crisis, and we continued to just every problem that came our way to pivot, to innovate, to iterate, and to, even when we really should have given up, just not given up.
So throughout that process, were there any big, wins, like financially, that you look at? You're like, okay, this kind of fed me, because you're driven by some of that, right? You're excited about solving a problem and then being compensated according to it. And you were working on solving a problem that you knew was real. Were there some of those like little carrots that were given to you throughout it? Or was it just always like, I keep chasing that thing, I just can never get it?
Man, I think that the business had wins, and that's where it was kind of difficult, but we definitely had some big wins. We had some incredible adversity too, but getting a signed contract, when I talked about like how cool it was to open that JPack up and you go, there's $1 million worth of stuff in here. Well, when you have a really like a burnt memory in your mind of when you were in the middle of that warehouse with nothing but a desk, and now you've got like hundreds of sections of pallet racking, and you've got people that are pulling orders for the company, and it was really cool. So we landed a few really big accounts, and the real juice out of all this is that, like, the problem that we were solving was real. So when we cut checks back to those clients, they were blown away. No service on the market was yielding an ROI for them like that. So the thing started to sell itself. And that's where it was really fun. The thing that was driving us wasn't always just the money. It was like, can we actually solve this problem? Like, how close to solving this could we get? The impact that it would have was really cool. So,
And so some of those times when you're waking up in the morning, you've got the team, you're looking at the warehouse, you're seeing a big problem that needs to be solved, and you're the guy that has to jump in and help solve it. There's some things that get you up in the morning, but like, what were some of those just mindset things you had to tell yourself, or routines you had to get into, or just like, was it just natural for you because you were fixed on it?
I think it was probably an unhealthy obsession with success, and what success meant to me. In particular, I can only speak for myself, right? You start to get rewarded when you see the progress, and that alleviates the pressure. Like, it's not like nothing was working. A lot of things were working, but there would always be that next thing. And dealing with setbacks, dealing with adversity, having a team meant everything. But also just, probably a really unhealthy obsession with success. I was just willing to sacrifice everything for it.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's, seems to be like what it takes in some scenarios, that if you're not, you're going to give up and you're going to walk away. But it doesn't matter what it takes. I'm going to make this happen. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah. And I'm not a big proponent of hustle culture, by the way. Like, if you're listening to this, if you're a founder, if you're feeling those really, really tough days, right? Like, I started this whole thing out and I was really closed-minded because I had a bad experience around, equity and having advisors and having partners and what that really meant. And it's funny because as much as equity can be a great opportunity for a great business and all that, like, equity can be a curse too. Like, you're on the cap table of a company that's tanking and it's not fun, right? Like, you want to help people succeed, and sometimes things just don't work out, right? So my mentality around how to receive advice really started to shift when some of these things, like, you're a phone call away from someone who's been through this 500 times and you don't know what you don't know, right? So I learned a lot of those lessons the hard way. I would do a lot of things the same. I would do a lot of things differently.
What are some of those things that you would do differently?
Well, piggyback on that, right? Having a good advisory board, having a board is so great. Like, so great. It's worth equity if they're the right people. It's so worth it. It can accelerate all the timelines. It's not just introductions. It's how you set the business up. It's, it's having someone to call and go, hey, have you ever, gone through this before? And them being able to say, here's the phone number, call this person. They'll meet with you for coffee on Tuesday. So that's such a big thing. I think too, some of the hardest things are the simplest. Your business model, profitability. I wish and really, it's funny where I landed now. I work for an advisory firm called Whipfleet, and it's, one of the largest CPA accounting technology companies in the nation. And one of the things we do is outsource CFO and accounting. And I get to work with these folks. I go, if I had you on my team when I was running my business, you could add a zero to everything that ended up happening. Like, it really makes a difference, but it can be very expensive too. So understanding the value of paying an advisor, understanding the value of bringing someone out of the cap table, right? A lot of founders that I talk to that are inexperienced, they're like allergic to the idea that they're going to share their baby with someone. And it's like, your baby ain't probably, the rare exceptions of the world are out there, but your baby probably isn't that special, right? Like, very rarely are new ideas actually new. Maybe you've got a new approach, or you're going to apply technology a certain way, but be open to someone coming in and being excited about being a part of it, and vet accordingly, but be open to giving up some cap table to that.
Yeah, I love that reflection of like some of the things that you would have done differently, because I think that impacts a lot of people that are in that space right now. And just diving a little bit deeper into your advice to have an advisory board or get people into your corner that have been there, done that, and have the network that they can just pick up the phone and call. How do you find those people?
1-800. No, here's my cell phone. It's going to come through your network, and typically you want to find people who are as close to the problem that you're trying to solve. So in my case, right, like when we started to get to that point, there were folks who had been trying to solve the same problem for a long time, but maybe didn't have the means to quit the job they were in at the time, to go all in on a startup or something, right? So like, or didn't have the technical know-how to build a software solution to approach it that way. But they're probably going to be industry aligned. They're probably going to be aware of what you're trying to solve. It's going to resonate with them in a way, right? Because there's smart money and there's just money. And sometimes if you have all that knowledge in the world, you do just need money, and you can get a loan for that. You can find someone who's just looking to put money in, get money out. But you really, you know, in my world, I think you would want to find someone who can connect the dots with you and be in the war room a little bit with you, right? So yeah, there's no silver bullet answer to how to find the right advisors, but they're out there.
Yeah, and being open-minded and just understanding you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know everything, so it's okay to ask for help sometimes too, and just even get in some of those spaces and say, hey, you've been here, you've done that. Are you willing to, you know, go grab coffee and me pick your brain, right? And just starting out in conversations like that, being genuine and listening to what people say. You know, if you are really looking for an advisor, looking for someone to pour into you and give you a little bit of advice, they're going to do it once because you asked. If they see that you took their advice and actually acted on it, then the next time you go and ask for advice, they might give you second advice. But if you come back and they're like, last time we talked about these things, and I asked you to go and read this book or do this thing or, you know, change this area of your business, how did that go? And like, oh, I didn't do that. Like, they're never going to give you advice again. Right. Be a good student.
Right. The being a good student part helps. Knowing what you need, knowing where your gaps are is big, right? Like I always knew I wasn't the most organized person in the world, right? Like I wasn't really good at you gave me 5 tasks in a row. I'd be really good at doing all 5 of them at the same time, but doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in order for me, it's kind of a challenge actually. I might forget halfway through.